Welcome to Lotus Talk. Today we shall be discussing a very relevant topic, that is death. How to deal with death from the Buddhist perspective. Death is so final when life is so full of possibilities. How can one deal with it? During the past few pandemic years, we have seen death so closely. And these days has also proved us that these days are a great source of loss, grief, anxiety, uncertainty, loneliness, and all those factors that are related to death. On the other hand, the basic philosophy of Buddhism is grounded on the sufferings of human beings. And it has gone deep uh, into the root cause of sufferings. And most importantly, it has shown us the means to end the sufferings. So, according to Buddhism, suffering is inherent to all human beings. Before we begin with, let me introduce you all with our honorable speakers. Today in this Lotus Talk, we have with us Venerable P Seewali, General Secretary of the Mahabodhi Society of India, Dr. Bandana Mukherjee, the Research Officer of the Asiatic Society, and Professor Arun Kumar Yadav, Assistant Professor of Nava Nalanda Mahavihara. So to begin with, I'll request Venerable P Seewali to throw light on this topic.
Especially to discuss about the death in the pandemic time is the most tough topic. I think one of the people are normally don't want to talk about the death. So last, I think, 1.5 years, I also given little talks on these matters, sometimes anxiety and the death, sometimes depression, and so many issues. And so I think in the most hardest part for last 1.5 years, people faced that they couldn't deal with these matters which come in one after another, and through the news channels, through the TVs, through the radios or whatsoever, from this media, what they have seen, what they're hearing. So this created such a panic situation in their mind. Even in sleep, there were lack of sleep. They couldn't have a proper sound sleep because of lack of actually that disturbed mind. So one has to have the peaceful mind, but under such circumstances, such uncertainty in our day-to-day life, so how we can have a peaceful life? This is the most important. How we can have a balance of our mind in day-to-day life. When you want to go to work, cannot go to office, go to school, you can't go to school. You want to go to market, you cannot go to market. You want to go to temple, cannot go to temple. People life become living in a jail or become prisoners completely. So we could understood how the prisoners are living in the prisons. So we, last 1.5 years, we have some sort of experience being at our home, but still we become prisoners in our own home. It's just like what prisoners mentality, in a prison. They are trying to go out. They want to go out. They're dreaming to going out to their homes, back to their homes, but they cannot because they are in this prison. So the similar situation we faced, irrespective of religion or caste or class, what's the country, irrespective of these differences, we have experienced the similar circumstances, similar condition in every country, the rich country or the poor country, or the east or west, no matter. But our experience was the same. So under this way, so we do not know whether tomorrow I'm going to live or die. So this was the question in our mind all the time. What will happen? when we see the news, when in the channels, when we heard about today, hundreds, thousands of people died due to corona. So we get this news that tomorrow, what happened to me? So this question is always giving us troubles, haunting day and night, day and night. So what is the solution for this? What kind of help? What we can, how are we going to heal this kind of, depressed, the circumstances, depressed mind? What is the medicine for that? For the, especially for the feeling, fear of death, is one of the very, very tough matters to deal with. So I think it is the spiritualism is the last destination or the last option. It's not the first, it is the last. So when you're going and knock the door, here, there, but no way, no healing, no sense of satisfaction, no sense of peace, no sense of that kind of a release to yourself. So where to go? What to do? So you become a clueless, helpless, crying, tears. So no way, So it is the only way to find that somewhere there, that from where we can have that kind of sense of spirituality. Those before 1.5 years before, they were not practicing so much from their heart, their beliefs, their spiritual faith whatsoever. And now many people have that sense of, sense of relief after that. They wholeheartedly, they practice in their daily life. So it is the kind of, healing touch, because we are always talking about this death. This is the base of Buddha's teaching, to understand the life and death. This is the Buddha's teaching, basic fundamental teachings of the Buddha, So as a monk or as a practicing of this Dhamma, this great teaching, what I can do from this part, it is what is a practical guidelines to give to the people, because you keeping about tomorrow is always creating so much of troubles to the mind, so much of miserable condition and a fearfulness, fearful feelings for tomorrow. So we are teaching normally to the people, just try to live this now, live tomorrow, let it come, let it come tomorrow. But leave tomorrow for tomorrow, but you live now. This is the most important thing, because people are not living now, they are living tomorrow. This is why people are so much becoming so much miserable, because they have forgotten now completely, but they are going to live tomorrow, which is not practical, But now I'm existing. Now I'm here. Now I'm talking. Now I'm listening. So that is why most of the people are planning for tomorrow, or the regret of yesterday, the past and the future. Mostly people, these two things are bringing so much of this kind of disturbed, miserable, the mentality to the mind, to the humanity. Even it's without coronavirus, people are unpractical. Their life is, unpractical, because most of the people in the past or the future dreams mostly. So they are forgetting now. So when we are forgetting right now, which is the truly existing, which is the reality now, because we need peace, not for tomorrow. We need peace now. When we need the real peace right now,
Right
at the
now.
moment, at the moment. So when we need the satisfaction, right now, at the moment, I need satisfaction in the mind, because at the moment I'm crying. So I need comfort now. At the moment I'm in depression. So I need comfort, healing. right now.
Can overcome this grief and sufferings.
Exactly. So this is the way we can
With this
convey
deep
this message.
understanding. Yeah.
Yeah, we can convey this message to others. Yes, be happy and be peaceful.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Venerable. And my deep regards to you for sharing your insightful thoughts, for showing us some means to overcome the sufferings. And now we move on to our next speaker. We have with us Dr. Bandana Mukherjee. Bandanadi, please.
I think you have, all of you have, the organizer have choose a very good topic for this situation, because more or less most of us are now in the panicky condition. In this situation, in this globalized disease, under the shadow of globalized disease COVID-19, lakhs and thousands of people of our life, almost all geographical locations in world atlas has lost nearest and dearest ones. As a result, many children lost their parents, many wives lost their husbands, many husbands lost their beloved ones. So in most cases, sometimes it becomes difficult for them to overcome this vacuum and grief and sad incidents. In this situation, as Bhante told, it's right. Spiritual healings by one's own is the only way to get rid of mental upset. Now, what is death according to Buddhist philosophy? Death in Pali is translated as morono or chuti. Viewing the life in the total context of samsara, Buddhism looks upon death as the termination of single phase of life. It is regarded as marking the passage from one phase to another. We know that the Vishuddhi Magga, which is one of the most important Buddhist psychological texts, it explains death as the cessation of final function of organism. In Pali, eko bhavo paripunnasya jivitendriyasya upachhedo. It is very important word for understanding death. Therefore, according to Buddhism, death is the cessation of psychophysical life of anyone in individual existence, but it takes place by passing the way of vitality, that is psychic and physical life. It can be explained by a simile of an electric light. Suppose, just as an electric light, it is the outward visible manifestation of invisible electric energy. Similarly, we are also outward manifestation of invisible karmic energy. The bulbs may break, the light may be extinguished, but the current remains. If we put another bulb, the light again may be reproduced through this bulb. Therefore, life is also single and unbroken process of becoming, bhava, which does not terminate at physical death, although it appears to be so. But it remains through karmic energy. So karma is the one thing according to our Buddhist philosophy. The ultimate is exists. Death doesn't mean extinguished everything. It may be detachment for physical existence, create a vacuums and griefs on the minds of those. But we should have a proper knowledge how to overcome this situation and what is death. And I think then we can understand, as Bhante just now told, how to overcome this grief. To overcome grief and from this unpleasant situation, we have to strive to make ourselves more fit by acquiring perfect knowledge. That means Samyak Jnana. How? By following the paths of Noble Eightfold Path, Oriyotthangiko Maggo, which all the Buddhist scholars know very well. Buddha repeatedly taught his followers that all things are subject to change and decay. What arises, that should be subdued, that should be extinguished. He taught his followers that eternal truth, that transient are all conditions. It disappears when conditions ceases. Just now Bhante told, na, we are thinking about future. We are thinking about tomorrow, but not today. What is that? We have to be aware. Appamado. We have to be what? We have to be present in our mind. I can say that that is called in my word momentary mindful awareness. We have to be aware for every moment. In each and every case, what we do, whenever we are taking our food or doing something, we are not in that moment. We are thinking something else because we are not in the present. So we have to be where? We have to be in the present sense. What we are doing, our mind should be there. That is called Sampoggyano. So this Sampoggyano is very important for the Buddhist theory. Meditation is the vital factor in all healing. The power of meditation enables us to transcend the physical and also to forget the limited self and its end, which distract our mind.
Thank you, Bandana ji, for being with us in this session and giving us your thoughts, which are very liberating and empowering. So now we shall move on to our next speaker, our last speaker, Professor Arun Kumar Yadav, Assistant Professor of Nava Nalanda Mahavihara.
In the very first teaching of the Buddha at Sarnath, which is known as Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, Buddha said that Jatipi dukkha, Vyadhipi dukkha, Jarapi dukkha, Marananpi dukkha, Apyehi sampayoga dukkha. I'm not going to quote all because limited time. Here you see Vyadhi means disease. COVID is also a disease. So Buddha called it as a dukh, suffering. And Maranam, of course, death is dukh. Third one, apyehi vipayoga dukkha. The leaving of your own beloved one means death of those person is also a dukh. So we are seeing here during the COVID period, the cause and effect of COVID, which is a essential teaching of the Buddha, which is known as a Pratit Samutpad, going on, which reminds us the impermanence theory of the Buddha. If we see the history of 100 years or 200 years, we have dengue, plague, etc. So several diseases in this world, and it will be there. Means in the future, maybe another disease will come. So we should not forget, or we should not afraid, and we should keep it in mind that yang kinchi samudayang dhammang sabbang cha nirodha dhamma means whatever things arises, it has to become an end. So it will end one day. So we should not afraid. We should not be in fear. In Anguttara Nikaya, Rog Sutta Buddha taught about two types of diseases. One is Kaik disease, Kaik Rog, and second type of disease is Chetasik disease. Kaik is bodily disease, and Chetasik disease, which is mental disease. So if we see the Kaik disease, Corona is a Kaik disease. We can categorize in Kaik disease. And it can be cured in maybe 1 week, like Corona in 1 week or 10 days. But generally, we don't talk about different aspect of the disease, which is a Chetasik disease, mental disease. Effect of the Corona or any disease is very important. You see, whole world is facing this problem, and because of Corona, so many people lost their life. So many people lost their jobs. Due to hunger, so many people lost their life. So these are the post effect of the Corona, which is a mental disease. And when we see the Buddha was a good psychologist, very excellent psychologist. We have two types of psychology in my view. One is modern psychology. If I will explain it, then you will understand clearly. Modern psychology, and second is the psychology of Buddha. Modern psychology is meant for, for the people who is facing some problem. Have you seen any person who is normal, he having no disease, and going to the to meet any doctor? No, you will not get any single reference. In few cases, if you have any problem, mental disease or something, any problem facing from your life, then you will go to the hospital or psychiatrist, to meet psychiatrist and to get some medicine remedies. But in the case of Buddha, you can't say that. We have several examples from the Buddhist literature. Buddha was the psychologist for not only for the diseased person, but also for a normal person. I give you example of Kisa Gautami. You see the Kisa Gautami, everyone must be knowing the story of Kisa Gautami. She lost her baby and family members. Then she became mad and without clothes, naked. She was wandering around Sravasti. And when Buddha encountered him, or when she met Buddha, then he has given, according to her mental status, he preached, teaching. Then he become again in normal life, and then she become nun and achieved the Nibbana. So this teaching for a mental ill people. But now in next step, you see, Buddha was not for a ill person or for that person, for a normal person like Ajatsatru, like Bimbisara, like Paseniji. They were the king of their country, of wealthy country, and they had no problem. But they often go to meet Buddha in Sravasti or in Rajgir or whatever the place they used to meet. They used to discuss, share everything. So Buddha, given teachings according to their mental status. So this was for healthy and normal people. And another, you can see the Adhakasi. She was a sex worker. Adhakasi as well as Ambapali. Buddha again preached them according to their mental status. They were not ill. So Buddhist psychology is different than. So we need this type of psychology which is lying in our literature. That Buddha talked about sabbe satta aharattiko, means everyone is based on ahar, food. Food is very essential during this corona period. Several people did not get a meal because of they lost their job and several other things. So hunger is most dangerous, you can say, rogue, maybe more dangerous than COVID. That is why Buddha said in the Dhammapad, Jiggacha paramo roga, means jiggacha means hunger. Hunger is the biggest disease. We have to search some alternative way so that hunger should not be a big problem for this world. But for mental disease, there is a very good, medicine is available. Just now, Bandana madam mentioned that Vipassana meditation is the, you can say that best tool and method to cure your mental chetic disease. It is free. It is easily available. It is available anywhere. You can sit in your own home and you can practice, and you can get rid from at least from that kaik. It will help you in your kaik, bodily disease, as well as very effective in mental disease. So for the post effect of the COVID, we should use this unique tool of Vipassana meditation so that we can get rid from COVID-19.
Thank you, Professor Yadav, for making this session very informative and interesting, and also enriching too. We have come almost at the end of this session. So thank you all for being with us in this Lotus talk. From the discussions, it came out that 2020-21 has shown us that once again, human beings as species has gone through various changes and has adapted various changes and survived. This too shall also pass, and let's move on from darkness to light. May all beings be well and happy. Namaste.